Video game journos love to stick together. They will defend each other tooth and nail, even if it means attacking gamers, the very people they need to read their trash articles. And now there's this long thread filled to the brim with complaints about how games journalism is like less than 40 people now, and I can't say I feel all that bad. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, this is actually a thread by Danny O'Dwyer. I think that's how you say his last name. He's been around in the industry for quite a long time, most notably with Giant Bomb, but he decided to go on this rant about how games journalism is dying and YouTube is the reason why, which I can't say I feel all that bad. When you constantly have people who call themselves games journalists attacking gamers, you end up with gamers hating you. When we feel disrespected, okay, people are not going to continue to support you, and that's what's happening now. So he went on this rant talking about how games journalism is like fewer than 40 people now. Magazines are basically gone and websites are close behind them. None of this is a surprise for me, but it's incredibly sad. We had something awesome for a while there. Younger generations have no idea what they missed out on, and I'll be honest, I used to read a ton of video game magazines. I have a ton of older ones that I still love and cherish. And I wish that it had not gone in this direction, but it was inevitable when social media became very big. All of these individuals gained their own following and they realized that they could spew any opinion that they had, and those opinions ended up becoming more and more hostile towards gamers. You can't expect to try to cater to an audience that you admittedly hate. And that happens even with video game developers. That's why so many video games fail now, or at least in part because gamers are sick and tired of monetarily supporting people that hate them. Games journalism is like fewer than 40 people now, but if you guys had stopped the hit pieces, focused on writing informative pieces of content, and you showed a general level of respect for your audience, you wouldn't be in this situation. People are not going to read when you constantly disrespect them. Patreons for known personalities can only get you so far, which is definitely not the case. There are content creators on platforms like YouTube who make hundreds of thousands of dollars off of Patreon a year, and that's perfectly fine. That is a great way to earn some money, to be able to continue doing what you love. I have a Patreon, I have YouTube memberships, I do supporter exclusive live streams, and there's supporter exclusive chats in my Discord server, right? You can go extremely far if you have an audience who is passionate, but in order to gain that audience, you have to be offering them high quality content, or content they at least appreciate, even if it's not high quality. YouTube is harder than ever to break into, and streaming is having its own reckoning. My hope is there's a revolution around the corner, but we can only be going the way of the music industry, consolidated, killing, salted earth. He's just angry and salty, as he points out, that YouTube content creators are more relevant than ever, and that content creators like myself, for example, are making it harder and harder for their jobs to kind of survive rounds of cutoffs because I'm sitting here every single day putting up tons of content, and ultimately, I just have an audience who appreciates my viewpoint and agrees with me. That's all that it really boils down to. He sounds incredibly salty that YouTube content creators and Twitch streamers, for example, have an audience that he doesn't, which is hilarious to me. I've worked very hard on my channel. It's been years and years of putting up 2 to 4 videos a day. I stream 20 plus hours a week. I'm putting in the effort. He could too, but he's just complaining that he's not instantly going to be handed that opportunity on a silver platter, which is also weird because he does have a YouTube channel with 51,000 subscribers, but he doesn't upload there. He doesn't live stream. He doesn't put up videos. Like, he had a decent following initially, but he decided to kind of give that up when he joined Giant Bomb. I don't know why he would have ever done that, because that would have been an extremely like lucrative opportunity for him, but he stopped doing that. So he only has himself to blame for the fact that he was fucking lazy over all these years. Here we go, guys. Personal attacks on you and I. It's cute that the anti-woke crowd are doing a victory lap with my original post, but pinning it on progressivism is self-serving bullshit. Like most things, it's far more complex than that. I'm glad I got to be part of it for a moment, but I too jumped ship once I saw the iceberg. Of course, it's always the anti-woke. Why can't it just be gamers in totality? And that's it. Why do you have to start making it about politics? Oh, well, this political party is doing a victory lap, or I support this political party of gamers and the people who identify with my personal politics, and I'm going to defend them tooth and nail. Why can't you just say, oh, hey, there's going to be gamers out there who do not like traditional games media or access media, and that's perfectly fine. Unfortunately, though, I think that this is, a bad sign for the future. Just be respectful, but instead he has to attack the anti-woke crowd. And you know what? Good. Continue to do that, because it just proves why you're so fucking irrelevant now. And yes, gamers are pointing and laughing at him. Missed out on? You mean when gaming journalism turned on the readers around 15 years ago and actively started bashing them? The state of games journalism is where it's at because of you and your peers, which is totally and completely true. It is their fault that games journalism has died. They could have been pumping out articles and articles and articles and articles. I do that with videos. I'm passionate about video games, though. That's why I love talking about the video game industry. Even if I think that it's in a pretty bad state, I still love to talk about it. That's why I stream video games 20 plus hours a week, because I love video games. But when you ultimately join an industry and you don't give a fuck about it, I guess I understand why he's been so lazy all these years, because he doesn't know video games. He doesn't care about video games. What is this revisionist history? You did this to yourself. You do not remember about 14 years ago when you all bent the knee to political activism and stopped being awesome? I'm surprised clickbait, corruption, and propaganda lasted this long. Oh no, poor gamesindustry.biz. Anyway, here's an article. Do you have what it takes to be a sex champion? I'm not even gonna read the rest. I do not need to. You already know what it's about. Sounds like developers and publishers should have stopped taking your tiny group so seriously then. In fact, I think they already have. This is what's mind-boggling to me, is that there are still people that are in the industry, like developers, who love these journos, like Corinne Bush, for example. She did an interview about a week and a half ago about Dragon Age the Veilguard and said that they were so proud that Veilguard was critically acclaimed. Who gives a fuck what the critics have to say? It's not critics buying your games, it's gamers. This is going to be a very rude awakening for a lot of people in the industry, because they have to realize that they are going to actually have to give codes to content creators who they do not politically align with, which is going to be hilarious. I've gotten a few codes over the years for my channel, but I always make sure I'm talking to not only like the PR person, but I've talked to a developer, or I really believe in what they've created. Most of the time when I've received codes, it's from like AA publishers and companies, because I feel like I want to support them. And when it comes to the larger companies, I just feel like they require so much of content creators, but that's not going to happen anymore. They are going to have to realize they need YouTubers, and that happens to sometimes be YouTubers, and again, Twitch streamers, just content creators in totality, that they do not personally agree with politically. I know you're going through a lot right now. Just know you did this to yourself. I am so stealing this meme. Games journalism is a colossal failure because your peers decided it was a good idea to attack consumers repeatedly and constantly. The sooner every games journo is unemployed, the sooner I can enjoy games without having them tell me why it's problematic, actually. So they're getting, absolutely roasted right now. Game journalists in totality. which is hilarious to see. I do not feel bad for any of these people who fear that their jobs are at stake. I'm sorry, but after all of the years of you guys constantly attacking gamers, as a gamer, I do not care about what happens to you. If you could change and show a little bit of respect for other content creators that you at this point hate and you apologize to gamers, sure, I'll say that absolutely fucking sucks that you're losing your job and that you're worried about your job. Otherwise, you haven't really provided any good content to gamers for years, and the level of hatred for us is mind-boggling. So it is what it is. We've got these journos complaining now, saying that there's like less than 40 people within the entire industry now who are actually writing articles, but boo-hoo, cry me a river and float upstream. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.